Well, Pat, this is your first time on this roofing area on this facility, but we both do this a lot with our facility condition assessments.
We do.
Just want to point out some of the things I saw, and as you see some things that we look at and look for from a facility condition assessment perspective. One of the first things I like is, one, it's safe access. You come in through a closet and come in through the door. And two, on this, for those watching at home, this is an EPDM roof. It's a type of single ply. It's a typically flat or low-slope roof.
A rubber roof.
Rubber roof. But it has walk mats that have been glued down onto it. And walk mats are important because it provides access to all of the different areas that keeps you from damaging the underlayment. Now we're going to walk on the underlayment, not underlayment, excuse me. We're going to walk on the rubber, but it's always good to have these, especially around your equipment. And you'll notice in this facility, we've got all the roof types, if you will.
Yeah, we've got dimensional shingle, we've got EPDM, and over this way with the little pebbles, that's a ballasted roof that the rock is all on top of the underlayment, which is a little bit more difficult to maintain.
Yeah, and we do have over on the building over there, the taller roof, that is a standing seam metal. And on this over here, to my right, we have a TPO roof, which is another type of rubber roof, but it's white. So as we look, and you can kind of see, they've done updates and upgrades on their roofing in stages. So you don't have to replace the entire roof at one time if you don't need to or don't have the funds for it. Replacing a side or replacing the sections that are bad is not a bad thing to do, right? You don't have to invest in the entirety if you can only afford one. It's better to do something on the worst part than nothing.
Hey Nathan, when you were here before, did you find any date codes on the EPDM?
Yes, I found a couple. Now, if the odds, there's one right here actually. It's upside down, but you know, when is it ever perfect for us? But you'll see here this date code 01403 FRAAB 060 EPDM FR made in USA. What that date code means, and I don't remember the AB.
Fire resistant.
No, the AB. That's the date code for this Carlisle EPDM. And I have a cheat sheet that tells me what number those letters correspond to. That's when this was manufactured. But this first part, 0140, is when it was produced, what plant it was at. That's different information about this here. It's 60 mil, 060 EPDM fire resistant. And so you can learn the date codes. You can see it on EPDM roofs. You typically don't see it on TPO roofs. No. But knowing the date, these roofs are typically warranted for 15 to 20 years. And so you can find that. And a lot of times the warranty is based on installation, inspection, and proper maintenance. And some of the proper maintenance that needs to occur at times is you actually need to clean your flat roofs. So you'll see.
As evidence behind you.
Yeah. Dirt and debris and buildup will occur, and so you'll need to clean it. You also need to make sure your roof drains are free of debris, especially if you have trees overhanging. This property doesn't, but many times we'll see those filled up with leaves. And if you come here and you can kind of see those holes through the wall. So if you ever want to know what those holes, those drainage holes through the walls, that's called a scupper. The scupper goes through the wall. That's where the water drains. And you'll notice that there's a kind of a triangle looking piece between the scuppers. That is called a cricket. And what a cricket does is direct the water flow to the drainage areas, in this case, directly to the scuppers. So as the roof drains, it goes into those, it hits that cricket and drains towards the scuppers. And so you'll see these roofs have insulation board that you can adjust to create, like right here is a cricket. So as water comes off, it's pushed that way to the drainage.
Everything slopes here to a non-existent scupper.
Yeah. Yeah, and they tried to kind of push it, but it didn't work.
Well, it's just why you see all the ballast that's laying there as well.
But you do see on your drainage there they are trying to push the water out from that corner that's lower and push it this way. And this is the problem you face when you have buildings constructed in different time and different years, and they just kind of push everything together. If you don't take the time to properly assess drainage and how it all connects together, you can create additional problems for yourself.
Yeah, even on a area that doesn't have a lot of trees nearby, you can see the residue from the shingles. As they weather, they come off and they clog up the drains, and so that's important to keep that clear as well.
So here's a great example of some maintenance issues that we see, and see quite a bit, that we have to assess and that you'll run into. It's hard sometimes to find where the leak is on a flat roof, on a single ply roof. You'll notice on this one that they've had some leaks, and you see all this white roof mastic applied. While it's a valiant attempt and it shows some proactive, this is not the approved sealant for a black EPDM roof, okay? It takes a specific way to see it. If this was warranted, which I don't believe it's under warranty anymore, this would void the warranty completely, because this is not the correct stuff. So we have to make sure that if we allow anybody on our roofs to patch it or to attempt to find a leak, that they use the manufacturer's recommended products to actually seal it. And this should have been there's seam sealant that you can apply to this, but honestly, if I was doing this, because EPDM, the joints are typically glued, I would take a strip of new roofing, 10-inch wide strip that would completely cover the joint, and put the contact adhesive on both sides, glue it, and then seal the seams. The other thing that we see in part of this roof, we think it's the roof leak, or they think it's the roof leaking. But when we look at these windows here and over there, you'll see that they've caulked a lot of it, but at the windows, that has failed, and there could be water coming in from there, so it may not be the roof, it could be the windows.
Yeah.
And then over here, this is an attempt, there's a door underneath this little section of 10. It's not gutter, it's actually 10. And so it's designed to keep water and snow from falling on you as you exit the building. The additional issue it's made, though, at the bottom, if you look at the brick down at the bottom on either side of that landing, you'll notice that it's a lot darker color than the surrounding brick. That's because that water, while it's not going on the doorway, it's dropping down onto that brick, and the splash up and everything has created organic staining on the brick. So you've created another maintenance issue while trying to solve a convenience issue here. The proper way to approach this would have been to install a gutter section, extend it a little further, and provide downspouts down to the ground so you keep that on there. A little bit more investment in equipment would allow you to not have to scrub your building and get that organic staining off.
One of the things that this roof is really easy to point out on is EPDM, because it's rubber and it's exposed to the sunlight, it loses its elasticity.
Yeah.
It becomes a bit brittle. And if you look at these seams here, they look, and I don't want to peel it back because I don't want to cause a roof leak, but it is fairly brittle alongside these seams, and you can see that it's starting to peel back. This one over here was like that too, and that needs to be addressed. But that's one of the reasons you would end up having to replace the EPDM membrane, is because it's lost its elasticity and it's pulled away from where it's connected at the walls. But this also is a great opportunity to see how it's installed. These squares that you see all around here are the actual attachment points where the roofing is attached, and then the EPDM is essentially glued to those points.
On your single ply roof systems, you're going to have your roof deck, then you're going to have your underlayment, which is some thickness of polycyanurate insulation board is what it is, and it can range in 1/2 inch to 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 inches thick. You can specify multiple. They make super long screws, but as Pat was saying, those are the screw attachment points.
It's a cleat with a
for the underlayment.
These are square.
Yeah,
and they're screwed through the
that go in, and then the EPDM roof, there's it's basically contact adhesive. Put on the underlayment, put on the back side of the membrane, fold it down. You don't want to get it crunched because it will not come undone. And finally, on this roof, something I want to point out, and it's not just on roofs. But even down low, you'll notice this gas pipe here, feeding gas and things like that. You'll notice that it is now rusty and there. This is one of the things that kind of bugs me. It's from a more of an industrial maintenance standpoint, but this should have a rust neutralizer applied. And then I recommend painting it the kind of universal accepted color for a gas line, which is yellow. That way people know what it is, and you know that it is not deteriorating from the outside in from exposure to the elements, water, rust, things like that. It's a simple thing to do. Volunteers can do it. You can get a paint-on rust inhibitor that also neutralizes the rust and acts as a primer, and then you put a commercial oil-based, typically yellow paint on it. It protects your gas line. It alerts you to it, a gas line. And again, it's a simple thing to do that lasts many, many years.